Hi guys, it's Johnny Cochran from Dynasty, and I wanted to bring you guys a new video talking about how the balance changes have affected the game. And just to cover it shortly, I mean, in terms of the decks that I've been using, this Lava Hound, Inferno Dragon, etc. deck, Mega Minion's been nerfed, Pump has been buffed a little bit, and other than that, it's basically the same, but little changes really can affect the game in a big way. So I wanted to discuss, exactly where the game is, where it's going, and, see how effective these decks are, see if they're a little bit more in line with the balance that the game directors and Supercell and everyone really wants this game to be. So basically, we're facing another Royal Giant deck. Face these a lot. Royal Giant seems to be making a comeback recently. I think a lot of people are aware of that. But we have been able to defend relatively well. We're now raged right on top of the tower, and we're just going to take it down. I mean, there's nothing to do against a death ball that's right on top of the tower. There really isn't. Even Rocket will take out everything except for the Lava Hound, and really 6 Elixir against that without something else to defend just isn't viable. So I've taken the tower down, I've defended well, I've got a pump. I'm doing well. I was at work, however, and here's where I make the mistake. I overcommit. Man, this was a big mistake on my end. But basically, I threw the minions down. I knew that they would take down the other minions, so the Hound bursts. The Hound pops. Wow. That was an interesting imagery. And I just overcommit, man. Now, I've done a lot of damage here, but I know he's going to throw down the Royal Giant. He throws it right down. The Mega Minion does go a little bit too far. That's my saving grace here. But, I log it back. And guess what? Now the miners aggroed my tower. Everything else is just coming in. The only thing that I can do is just throw a Hound down and assume that I'm going to lose that tower and figure out a way to take his second tower. He thinks the exact same thing, so he's like, all right, and let me get started on this next one. Throws the princess down right in front of the river, and I'm left with a death ball moving forward, but I've taken such severe damage on that tower. It never should have happened, so I'm throwing the double Hound down, but unfortunately, my Mega Minion was taken down by his tower. No idea why his crown tower ended up targeting my Mega Minion. I have to throw one down to replace it. Both Hounds pop at the same time. I'm hoping the rage will get them in. No, it doesn't. That Ice Wizard was just MVP. But the bottom line is that, I almost caught that miner with the knight. Didn't end up happening. But guess what? He, doesn't end up taking it anyway. So I would have been in a good place to take that second tower if it came down to it. But I do take it 1-0. Normally, I can 3-crown those decks. I didn't play as well as I could have. That was my fault. But, moving on. Now we're facing, a very different deck. This is Miner, Goblin Barrel, Log Princess. I mean, just a very light deck. Kind of Zap Bait, I guess you could say. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is Zap Bait. But this is my miniature account. It's Sean V. Bradley in the DE Tim Tams. I don't have Log. Log really makes this deck, man. It just provides you so much cover, especially against Zap Bait decks. So the only way that I can really defend against this princess without overcommitting is to throw a Lava Hound down on the side and then start an attack. He throws the Inferno Dragon so far to the right, the only time it actually targets the Lava Hound is when they're, it's right on top of the tower anyway, but he puts up a huge, amazing defense right there. I mean, he really doesn't have anti-air. He's got, he does have the Inferno Tower, which is definitely a strong tower against this type of deck. But he's got Princess. He's got, Ice Spirit, Zap. These are very light defensive tactics against what's ostensibly a slow-moving, high-elixir deck. This is a double Dragon Hound deck that I just made just because the only other decks I had were troll decks, and I was like, you know what, I have Hound and Inferno Dragon, may as well try it. So I don't have Logs, so the only thing that I can do is take a little bit of damage from that Skarmy, throw the Knight down, who actually tanks, man. I tell you, Knights are so powerful. They really are underrated right now. Again, the Inferno Tower does take out the Hound, but raged up Inferno Dragon just wrecks, man. So I'm one pump up. Again, I have to deal with that princess. But at that point, the princess hasn't gotten a shot off, so I say, okay, you know what? I'll overcommit a little bit, take the dragon down. I pump up. He tries to throw some tricky goblins there. Doesn't end up working out. He's minoring me down. Ice Spirit comes in way too late, though. So he starts on the right and says, okay, you know what? I know I have this left-hand tower down. So he throws Skarmy. I throw Knight to counter, figuring eventually the Skarmy is going to be taken out. But he's just piling it on, man. I have nothing to kill his princess. So he throws Miner, Gob Barrel, Zap, but he's committed so much and he actually hasn't taken this tower down. So now I know that I have to go for broke, because I know he can get at least one of these towers down. He does the exact perfect thing, which is throw the Skarmy down on the right to distract my Inferno Dragon. Baby Dragon is distracted by the Inferno Tower, but everything survives because I put the double Hound down, and he does get that tower, but man, I'm actually, right on top of his King's Tower. 2 more seconds, I would have gotten the 3 crown. Really good game from him, but it just comes down to making that death ball and just pushing it. But I want to bring this back to someone else. This is Razor X. Really good guy, very active in the clan. He's taken to this deck recently, taking it verbatim, exact same copy. And I'm not shitting on the guy, because he's actually a great guy, and he knows how to play the game, but you can see how sometimes the wrong type of defense will actually just... This deck is so temperamental. He has nothing to defend against that. Honestly, I'm even thinking of throwing Zap in, because Minion Horde is just one of the strongest defenses against this deck. And, he's lost his pump, he's down on Elixir, he's down a tower, and the other guy's throwing a Furnace down as a passive card because he's high on Elixir. Those front-moving Fire Spirits were questionable at best. But he's thinking, you know what, I gotta throw a Hound down. But meanwhile, Mini P.E.K.K.A.'s being thrown down. I think that a better choice, instead of the minions which got killed by the Fire Spirits from the Furnace, better choice would have been the Knight, and then you could have thrown the minions down once the Fire Spirits were absorbed by the Knight. This... again, he throws the Knight down thinking he has the time to make a death ball, but man, the Hog just comes in. That's one of the things about this deck. He gets laughed at. He didn't deserve that, man. But, in the current meta, if you don't defend well against every single push and then drop the Lava Hound, if you give your opponent time, it really comes down to, luck and the way the cards go. So now we're into done for. This guy isn't using the Hound deck. He's using a completely different deck, and that's totally fine. But I wanted to showcase this one because this is just an amazing game from him. The Ice Wizard comes down a little early. He wasn't Elixir capped. I would love to ask him what he was thinking there. But that Miner Hog is actually really smart because it confused the hell out of those archers. One shoots back at the Miner, one shoots at the Hog. Neither one of them really does a whole lot. But now he has to contend with this huge push coming in. The Knight is absorbing the tower and the tower's damage, and he just really doesn't have a whole lot. But the Zap was used, so he's free to use Skarmy defensively, and he's going to save himself. He's not in a horrible position. He is down about 1,000 hit points on that left-hand tower, and he is going to have to defend against those archers. And again, this is one of those things that it may have been a better choice to wait a little bit until the archers were a little closer and taking a little bit more damage. Because right now he's having to push a little bit. He's dropping the Hog, but with the Knight, the Inferno Tower, and being on that side of the river, even the Zap isn't able to give the Hog enough time to get to the tower. So here we see him trying to back up, or his opponent's trying to back up the Knight with that Ice Spirit. Doesn't quite work, and he doesn't have arrows or Zap readily available, so he ends up not being able to do that much damage on that counter push. And again, he's seeing this guy is just cycling, man, to Hog. The Skarmy does kind of mix itself up here, but that Zap does allow him to take the tower at the last second. So Dun 4 is a little pissed over here. It seems he's dropping the Ice Wizard and the Mega Minion, but we can see that the opponent's really trying to get that value out of the Fireball. Drops the Miner to see if he can salvage some of this. Zap comes down, very strong zap, and unfortunately he's not able to use the zap to help his hog out. So he's still trying to make this left-hand tower work. In the meantime, his opponent's probably sensing a little bit of that weakness, so he tries to start pushing on the right-hand tower. Only gets one shot off on that hog, and unfortunately that's really not going to help him because he does have a lot to contend with. Crazy fireball there, but again, he's right on the zaps too. So the miner's in, hog's down, and the hog is actually on the tower. 10 seconds left. Knight slices it down. Ice Spirit goes in, and he actually takes that tower down with that hog's last swing of the hammer. Unfortunately, he keeps putting down that Ice Wizard with the Mega Minion, and that's really not helping him because, you know, those fireballs are just getting tons of value. He throws the miner down, but what you have to understand is that when you're going for a second tower and you're using a miner, if you're using the miner to distract the king towers, the crown towers and the king's tower, you're actually going to be pelted by 2 cannons at once, not let alone, you know, whatever else is going on. So the miner actually evaporated. Really strong arrows though here right now, because the knight was being targeted by both towers, and then he drops Skarmy, so he's actually able to get huge value for that. He is defending well. He has a lot of damage done on that tower, but the 10 seconds left come down, and Skarmy goes down. The opponent drops an Inferno Tower, but zaps way too late. 3 seconds left. He has 1,000 hit points on that tower, and he actually pulls it off. Hog's last swing of this hammer. Great job from him. Very close game. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. Clash on.